How much NVIDIA stock should you own to become a millionaire by 2027? Watch until the end of the video to find out. Dan, you have become highly synonymous with the AI revolution and NVIDIA story. Of all the people I could think of who have been bulls on NVIDIA, you have probably been bullish for the longest, and the magnitude of your bullishness has probably been the closest to really capture what the opportunity has been and will be up with this stock. And just a general investing theme, nothing I heard on the NVIDIA call Wednesday night changes any of that, and I don't think it's changing anything of that for you either. But if you want to just start off, give me like the broad strokes on what we heard, and then we can get into some of the individual takeaways. And thanks for those works coming meeting fun. See you me. And you have talked about a lot, like it's all about putting the data points together. And you come at that call, I'd actually say incrementally more bullish, not even just on video, but on the overall and because of the black delad, if there was going to be one what you headwind or black cloud, they'd put that to rest in terms of yields. And in any of the issue, their demands has STP and supply anywhere from 10 to 15 to 1, right? So when I look at the underlying enterprise, man, not just in big tech, but even like when you look at sovereign, and you look at what I think ultimate is going to be the rest of sort of enterprise, this is a story I still view, call it bottom of the first, top of the second inning. I continue to view it's LeBron in high school in. So you really do still believe it's that early. It's where only 3%, maybe 5% tops of enterprises globally have even gone down this path, right? So it comes down to sometimes I think it's very easy not see far to the trees, in terms of okay, or quarter 325 billion. As the godfather of AI, Jensen is leading the charge for this AI revolution. The tech stalwart delivered huge pop the mic numbers once again that easily beat the street with a top line that grew 122%. Whispers 33 billion, but now the focus Bo is a company that is ultimately going towards 50-75 billion, eventually 100 billion per quarter. And I think that is really the trend, not just for NVIDIA, but for what this means for the rest of the nation. Although some buy-side rumors suggested that expectations were slightly higher for the October quarter, we believe that NVIDIA's soaring demand for AI chips is the reason for the company's strong estimate for the October quarter, which saw 80% rise from a year earlier with 30 billion in revenue. Blackwell's delay issues created a strong outlook and a meteor. The AI revolution is just beginning its next stage of development, as evidenced by Amber Enterprises' pipeline. What do you think was the primary cause of NVIDIA's near 6 or 7% stock price decline in the immediate wake of that report? I believe many individuals had that reaction, but the stock price didn't. I simply believe that people expect Job to win 60-60-60 if you lose 3, but if it's 63, then the point is that you're thinking, well, could they give a 34 billion number just another? It was essentially what I would call it. $500 million higher than base perhaps, but a little below whisper. I believe that it will likely end up being close to 34 billion because I believe that NVIDIA now understands that when you're in this parabolic power, especially with Blackwell, there's no reason for them to give a 34 billion, even though I think that's open where it could, so you think we've got it spoiled, and it's still an incredible growth story. However, I think that it's going to start to happen, Josh, at that point the following month, and we'll be in Asia next week. And anyone doing supply chain checks in Asia will notice that demand is actually increasing in terms of supply. The next drum roll begins to stop, and a 2 is likely a sandbag number, and suddenly stock begins to, what I believe, continue to creep back up. And I believe we're looking for trillion markup for NVIDIA next 6 months, given all the demand we're seeing from enterprises hyperscalers, whose use cases are exploding. I don't see what's stopping it. Jensen touched on that a little bit, and I want to talk about demand. You mentioned that competition from AMD and others will eventually ramp up, but basically a 1 trillion in AI capital expenditures over the next few years is on the horizon, and last night's conference call further confirmed this demand outlook. In our opinion, the stage is set for tech stocks to move higher into year-end and 2025 as the Fed and Powell begin their rate-cutting cycle. The landing remains of Microsoft. The path in tech spending on AI is still a generational spending cycle that is just beginning to affect the tech sector. We continue to estimate that for every $1 spent on NVIDIA GPU chip, there is a $8 to $10 multiplier across the tech sector, which speaks to our firmly bullish view of tech stocks over the next year. Because of this multiplier effect, there are many opportunities for many stocks, not just NVIDIA, which is exactly what we really want. We also talked about investing in the multiplier because everyone owed a media Microsoft. This is the beginning of a cycle that we have essentially never seen before. Whenever someone makes a comparison between Cisco and NVIDIA, the chart appears. It looks like I covered tech back then, and 90% of Cisco's customers were essentially leveraged startups. On the other hand, you cannot compare what we're seeing here because it's the fourth industrial revolution that's being built out, and I believe that the next phase is when the software acquires its infrastructure and other parts of semis, with names like AMD. When you look at the valuation of AMD, NVIDIA, and Dell H, are people not fully appreciating how much AI is like a must-have as opposed to a nice-to-have? That's why I'm so excited about the second, third, and fourth derivative. You've made this point, and Jensen Huang has as well, regarding sovereign AI, and every country has its own AI for security and cultural reasons. Almost like it's purpose-built for the country in which the people will use it. The biggest thing, in my opinion, that isn't priced in the tech cap X from the stars is the incremental spend that I believe you will see from the initial spend things seem to be from edifies and governments. I mean, if I look at typical edifies and you think government 8-10%, sometimes 12% overall spend, that's not a number, right? So, as this all plays out, it all starts with the red phone. Where are you getting the bill? The answer to the important issue of how much NVIDIA stock you need to buy in order to become a millionaire by 2027 may surprise you. But if you now have more than $100,000 invested in NVIDIA, you're well on your way.